p.m. for Men Talk. We talk about how to live, how to love, and how to lead. So join with us as we talk about everything that men talk about on Men Talk. Mondays, 6:30 p.m. on Isaac 98.1 FM, The Promise.
You can now see the Men Talk team live on Facebook at Isaac the Promise and YouTube on FBN TV. Sponsored by Dr. Anaya Tony, the Feet Lady at Anaya Health and Wellness Center. Call 360-5166 or 478-7416.
Hey, David, what you now, boy? How you looking spritey so? Just the other day you complaining to me about back pain, chest pain, your foot swell up, circulation, all kind of thing. What you take for that, boy?
Jamal, boy, I went by the Feet Lady, and not just me, I carry the family too. Boy, the family I straight arthritis, kidney problem, diabetes, circulation, acid reflux. You call all of them just now. Had a pinch nerve too, and a cousin with lupus. And boy, the Feet Lady help you with all of that. And Naya Tony, boy, she's no joke. She even helping you if you had a stroke. Call she today, boy. Don't make joke.
Call Anaya Tony, the Feet Lady of Reflexology today at 478-7416.
Well, it's 6:32, somewhere around there. It's time for Men Talk on Isaac 98 FM. And, well, you know what Men Talk is about. It's a time we set aside every Monday night where we talk, as men. We have big men talk about big men things. And so we are going to be doing that today, as we usually do. And so let me first of all, our guest is here, and he is going to be in momentarily, but let me just say hello to my co-host, Huey Cuffie. Huey, good evening and welcome. All right. Are you hearing me, Huey? Mr. Cuffie.
Hi, Professor.
All right. Okay, you hear me now?
I'm not hearing you.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, well, good evening to you. Welcome. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, you know. I'm doing all right. Let me make sure you can. I wonder if you can see me now. Can you see me now?
Yes, I know. See.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure. George is not here as yet, I don't think. But
right.
So we're gonna be doing something a little different today, and I know I didn't connect with you, but so much has been happening this week. Really, we gotta talk outside of this. We will have to talk, but so much has been happening. But our guest today is Wendell Dillion. But before that, you know, usually give you the opportunity to send your shout outs and, you know, say hello to your folks. So go right ahead.
Well, sure, no problem. There's a special birthday greetings to a number of persons. September is it's a special month, not just because it's my birthday, but it seems to be, you know, three-quarters of the population born in September. Wonder why?
You know, I was making that point. Was it last year? And I think I was telling Mrs. Elcock that, like, everybody seemed to be born in September. Wow.
You know, and those who born in August, I feel they were premature, so they're supposed to be in September. Anyway, that was a special happy birthday to their sister Candace Joy Griffiths. She's celebrating her birthday today, but also another brother, Donnie. He celebrated his birthday yesterday. So that's Donaldson Paul. My brother-in-law celebrated his birthday Friday gone. So, you know, belated greetings to him. And then my daughter celebrating her birthday this Friday. So, yeah, plenty to go around. And interesting, my daughter, her name is Joel. But then I have a good friend, Joel, Sister Joel Atching. Her birthday is the day before. So happy birthday in advance to her as well. So, you know, and then there's Hazel and Elder, the wife of Dottie, whose birthday was just yesterday again. So I can't remember. I know she's in September. So a special happy birthday to all the September brethren out there who was listening. Well, you know, you're listening to us. And we just declare God's richest blessings to you all. And we love you.
Wow. Well, yeah, happy birthday to all the September people. My sister-in-law celebrates her birthday on Wednesday. That's Carol. So let me add, you know, my own happy birthday greetings to you, Carol, in 2 days from now. So, well, our guest is here, Dr. Wendell Dillion. I just gave him a doctorate. Dr. Wendell Dillion. Wendell, welcome. Good evening and welcome.
A pleasant evening to you, sir.
Okay, I just now with that. I don't think I have your mic on. That's what happened. Yes, let me mic you up. Let me mic you up now. Right. There we go again. Good evening.
Making some special preparations, right?
I was wondering. You didn't write that on your head, right? I saw him sanitizing, but I was seeing things.
Yeah, you go ahead, Noel. You go ahead.
I told he sanitized his head.
And George is here too, I see.
George is here. Good evening, George. How you doing? Well, George,
yes, blessed evening, Trinidad and Tobago. I am here, present and accounted for.
Very good.
Blessed evening, gentlemen. Mm-hmm. It's good to be on.
It's good to be on.
What?
All right. So,
my clip here, right?
Okay. So, folks, Wendell and I had some discussions this morning concerning something, but I want to go with what I had originally planned, which is a little different to what we normally do. And I think Wendell is the perfect man for this particular segment as our guest. All right, I call it the "Is It Okay?" All right, segment. The "Is It Okay?" So we want to deal with some practical things today. All right, so we're gonna kick it off now. George, I know you are the baby in the group. But I know you will, you're a good contributor as well. So it's good to have you. So let me just say to the folks, just in case you're listening for the first time and you're a female, the program is called Men Talk, where men talk. As you see, we have four men, even more than three, if it was three, it would have been three men. We have four men here, like George, Foreman, the boxer. Right, we have four men here. And ladies, why I'm saying this to you is because it's an interactive program where the caller, the listener gets an opportunity to call in and share with us. But we ask ladies, if you're a female, we ask you not to call. We ask you to encourage somebody who is male around you, your brother, your husband, your son, your father, uncle, whoever. Let them call in because we want the men talking. Ladies, however, you can interact with us and you can take the number down if you don't have it. 275-1981. 275-1981. You send a text message to that number. And, we will be able to interact with you through your text message. But please, not a voice note because we want to hear the voices of the men. And men, get ready to call in because this is a call-in segment. Okay? Or I should say segment. Yeah, a call-in segment. That's my new word.
No, they need to have a health advisory for you now.
Yeah. I like the one formidable.
Oh my goodness.
Listen. Come on, fellas. Come on. Support me in this.
And Wendell, he need direct exposure.
All right, so we have some questions we want to ask. And I think, Wendell, based on your practice too and having to deal with a number of men and situations and things, I think you're the best person, or as we say in Trinidad, the rightest person for it. But so here we go. Question number one. And this particular question came out of a discussion that was being held about 2 weeks ago on this very station. I listened to the guys talking, and they didn't really go into it in any depth, but I thought it was an interesting question. And the question is, and we said all of them start with, is it okay, right? So for a man, is it okay, gentlemen, for me to ask for an engagement ring back if the relationship does not work out? Is it okay for me to say, listen, I gave you this ring with the expectation that we were going to get married, but since that we've decided to go our own ways, can I have my ring back, please? And let me just add a little bit to it, because sometimes when you go out there to buy, you don't just buy the engagement ring, you buy the whole set, and the engagement ring is part of the set. So.
Partners, the engagement ring usually is the smaller one. There's a reason why.
Right, smaller one or not is part of the set. It is part of the set. And if it is that you go in with that, then I have to keep the rest. And should I encounter somebody in the future that I want to get married to, what do I do? find another one to fit the set. So that's the first question. Is it okay?
And you, I think you answered your question, Anna, because the truth about it is, if you are offering somebody an engagement ring, it will be sized for that person, and for the most part, it should be something that you would want to even with the person, you would go around and there's a sense. You know, people choose based on what their interest would be. So you would go around maybe and look at rings, and you would hear the person say, well, this, I like this, or they're looking at this. And so what is intended to be a surprise or whatever is not necessarily a surprise in the fullest sense of the word. The person already know that this is what they would like or what they're interested in. So when you select that for the person, you are actually, it's tailor-made for that individual. So to take it to give to somebody else, that was a concept back in the day when you would probably take your grandmother wedding ring and use it as part of a heirloom, a kind of legacy going forward. You would use that, but now there's a shift in the way people do business now. The person is usually would identify as something that they prefer. So when you give that person that, it is intended for that person. You would probably need to leave the person with it, because to ask back for it is not necessarily very cool in that regard. No,
but that's my money spent. Let me hear something from the other guy. George, I see you're chomping at the bit to talk.
Yeah, I beg to differ, because the thing about it is this: not wishing to coin this phrase, but money doesn't grow on trees. And for a man
for that, George?
I need to check with Cott. I need to check with Cott on that. And the thing about it, I mean, this question brought back to mind. There was a documentary that I was looking at where there was a young lady who, believe it or not, she found herself engaged at least 7 times. And with the gentleman that she was currently engaged to, he took her to court to get back his engagement ring. And within the court, they discovered that this was something that she did to be able
business.
to... As a business. Because she insisted, and he brought 3 or 4 men from her past that all lost their engagement rings to this young lady. Because a lot of the times when you are doing this out of love,
you leave it alone.
The pricing of your...
I George, yeah. Okay,
he's stuck there.
Yeah, we lost
George.
We lost George.
I feel the lady here.
George, be careful.
Turn on the internet on him.
Yeah. She said we can't have that. We can't have that. You can't be telling her like that.
I wanted to ask George if he was one of the 7 men, I wanted to ask him that, but he...
but you see again, what George said, he is alluding to the fact that people would walk away and leave it. There is that tendency to not take it back, because and of course we don't expect that when you do present an engagement ring is going to be very often. Is that like the woman in it is not a practice for men to go about presenting an engagement ring and then breaking it off as a way of getting interest. So but let's say Huey I see.
Yeah, Huey, what say you?
Huey, like he hesitant to talk about that way.
No, I mean, I think again, it's a personal situation. I would say, however, if you reach that stage, you should be reasonably sure about the person you're going to get engaged to. So for me, there has you would have had to do some serious due diligence in terms of this is really the person. Once you're pretty sure in terms of your conversations, obviously your observations, I expect, because engagement, which is the prelude to marriage, so I expect that you would have had some serious premarital counseling and all of that. And I mean, these are not just ideals. These are strongly recommended, activities. Then you are seeing in you getting engaged to this person, getting a ring, that really and truly this is the person that I find, including being trustworthy and all that I should, and it's love. I really want to be with this person. If something unfortunately happens between, when you give the engagement ring and, before getting married, something happens, it has to be something serious. And I mean, that's for me. I mean, as a person, I think at the end of the day, if it's better if she calls it off, and I would expect that she'd be honorable to return it. But at the same time, my honor is such that
you should
for
not
me personally, everybody's different. I leave it at that. I move on, because as I think Wendell said some points there, I bought it with her in mind, and I don't intend now to repossess that and pass it on to somebody else.
Yeah, but Huey, I mean, that's good for you. But if as George says, money to go on trees.
That's for me.
Money to go on trees.
That's why. That's why I will do my research, because at the end of the day, it's money.
Yeah.
So I remember my, my putting out, my down payments and whatnot, right? Maybe you could have bought it in one fell swoop, but for me,
well, exactly. So you paid on it to this thing and paying for it.
Yeah, and it wasn't just paid on. My pastor's wife, Sister Bev, God bless her, she came with me, right, to help me and
to choose it.
I went to the people's store and I looked and whatnot. So I will never recoup the investment. By getting it back. So I think at the end of the day, it really depends on the situation, and this is where, for me personally, I mean, I know we have any conversation, and but I just say my perspective is it's a personal thing. It is. I would not be upset with someone else if they or look at them in particular if they decide they want it back. You understand what I'm saying? Because the reality about it is money. People spending hard-earned money. And yes, I mean, same way that another person may not give it to another person. They just they will sell it. They will to get back some money,
Absolutely.
Because remember, you buy that for someone, you could have done something else with that. You could maybe go and buy your mother something, right? You could have, go and fix your teeth for the longest while. Maybe that's the reason why, but but there are things you could do.
That you could do,
yeah.
So,
but what I am saying more importantly is that there has to be some serious. Don't just give up the money box and say I go and buy the girl a ring.
Well, I hear you. So I'm just saying, after doing all that, anyway, we have a call on the line. So let's see.
Yeah.
Hello, good evening. You're on the air.
Yes, bro. As a matter of fact, if you're going to buy engagement for your perspective, she has to be there, and she has to choose you.
She had to be there?
Yeah, how you mean?
No, so it could be a surprise if wait.
No.
I mean, she had to be there. So this is not a surprise anymore?
I'm married 45 years. I met my wife and I was going. She choose.
That's what I said.
So we don't have the thing now. Wait, where you have a nice candlelight dinner and you drop the ring in the champagne glass or some kind of thing. You don't have them things again?
Not my time. I'm married 45 years ago, and I believe giving my wife an expensive engagement ring.
Yeah, but no problem. But she going with you. So you ain't getting a chance to stick the ring inside the cake, and when she pick up the piece of cake to bite it, she see the ring and she, we don't have them things anymore?
I don't know.
But she swallowed that.
That's the end of
that.
Yeah, boy.
Well, they did say till death do us part, huh?
Just a hold on, the gentleman. Let me hear what he said.
Yeah. Another thing too, if you and the person break up, you think it's so, why should you go back to the children? I find I loneliness on the behalf of the man.
Really?
Yeah.
So the ring, the wedding ring, the engagement ring is a gift.
Yes, it's her. You buy it for her. It's her.
Thank you very much, sir.
There's an element that we haven't touched on as well is the emotional aspect of it. That ring itself, because of all that would have gone into that and the activities and the selection, whether she identifies with it and then of course, she may not know when it coming because she don't know how your budget reading, but there's a sense that a ring might be coming. And then when the ring does come, if it doesn't work out, and then there's that sense she has the ring to, even for you to get back that ring. I mean, I hear what Huey saying, if she should do the honorable thing and give it back. But if she doesn't and hold on to it, you know, for you to come and ask back for that, where that carries so much emotional stuff inside of that, for you to just looking at that ring alone would be traumatic for you.
No, well, I'll take a sign and looking at it and selling it.
Wendell.
Yes. Yes.
Wendell, you also had a situation where, you know, for some men, they actually would give, like, you know, like an heirloom now.
Yeah.
So if it comes from your mother, right?
That's what I was saying earlier.
Right?
That's how my mother ring.
That is a little different.
I want it back.
You gotta bring that back.
We have an next caller. Hello, good evening. You're on the air.
Make sure it's polished too.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Interesting topic. Well, I never married, but I want to find out a few things. Engagement, personally, I don't know what is engagement. What is an engagement? Because in my growing up, I see a lot of people get engaged, but some people take the engagement for the wrong reason. It's like a business, right?
Not here, professor. So
like,
I think it.
Okay.
Like one of the gentlemen now say money they go entry. But I see some women married 5, or not married, engaged 5 and 6 times. Right? Sometimes they break up with their spouse and then they separate. So that money just going down the drain. Sometimes they try with you, car in the bush. They get started. Right? So I want to just explain what is engagement. Because I want to get some understanding about it. Because I think if you love somebody, you're just going to marry them one time. I might be. If I marry, if I love a woman, it's better go and buy one ring, put it on at the altar, I good to. So I'll listen to that.
Okay, right, thank you very much. All right, so before we answer your question, let's take another call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening to all panel.
Good evening.
Yeah, well, I see George just give me thing and he called that George. He ain't come back up. Anyhow.
I think he's back.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Interesting discussion. The Western concept of betrothment, or what we call engagement, you know, I mean, as the gentleman asked earlier on, it carries a different connotation to what the Hebrew or the Jewish custom is, even our Lord Jesus. You know, when you betroth to somebody, although you didn't make the actual marriage feast or it, but that person knows that, hey, you are my bride. I am going to make you my bride. So I'm going to prepare a place to come back for you, basically. But in the Western realm, we have this place where we stay up in tent, you know? Yeah. You know, we go on what we see and going towards what we hoping to accomplish. So there's a potential. So there's a trial basis to see if, just in case it don't work out, I could always go. But you mentioned something about the ring. I believe the ring is specifically for that person. You know, we can't make it. Hello?
We're hearing you. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we can't make it. We close off. That chapter closed, you go with that. I don't see the need to, you know, carry it over, or as my partner George was saying, you know, money to go on tree. If you look at it from that place, that's what you could say is match the money or match for money. You know, money and space. But thank God, on the man into marriage, because it will have problems if money is the emphasis. You know, so you all have a blessed night, and I'm locked in and, as you say, being entertained and informed.
Thank you very much, sir.
No problem, man.
Thank you.
Blessings.
All right.
Blessings.
So just to let the folks know, you're listening to Men Talk on Isaac 98 FM, and it's sponsored by the Feet Lady, Ayana Tony, and today is it okay? Is it okay question? We only on one. We have only reached one. But somebody asked, Justin, the gentleman asked about engagement. I don't know if anybody wants to answer that. But he's wondering, what is the engagement about? As far as he's concerned, you just get married. You know.
You just get married.
I think the engagement part of it is setting a date and kind of sensitizing your friends and families that, okay, well, look, here's what, you know, we engage for, let us say there's a duration of a year, and following that year, we will then engage in a number of things. So we, as you say, we'll be betrothed to get married, and so you know that this is your partner, this is who you're going to spend the time with. You're going through the counseling, and you're going through the preparation, and so there are a number of different things that you will be doing within that period. As again, some simply just ups and one day, okay, well, I know I love you, I want to get married, and we go on. It's like if you're driving in the Grand Prix, how it's either you're just off the blocks, or you have to do some level of training and preparation for that. So it is not always a clear cut, and I think there is that promise. It's exactly the promise. It is that promise of something to happen pretty soon, and the family and everybody is now part of that whole. And they are also engaged in a process that then will take these two people towards the altar, towards marital bliss and all of that good thing. So it is a process more so that is being identified through the engagement before. You must dig up the soil before you before you build the house. You must put on a foundation. You don't just you don't start to build the house just so without some preparation. So that's to me what it signifies.
My thing is though. Thank you, Wendell. I'm still trying to get over the fact that this thing is not a surprise anymore. That you go together and choose the ring and all of that, But anyway, so be it. That you go together to choose the ring. I thought it used to be a surprise. You take out to dinner or some kind of thing, even if it's doubles.
You worry, man, and that ring and
you ask the double man to put it in one of the doubles. You go to buy.
Well, after spending that much,
you're hoping she does chew properly.
It's like pepper and mango.
And watering.
All right, okay. So let's move on, gentlemen. Folks, the number to call is 6.
The thing about it, someone mentioned, betrothal and engagement, and obviously they're different cultures, even from a biblical perspective. Betrothal is a little more intense. Again, the culture is one. It's almost like the person is practically married, right?
Very early.
So yeah. But again, the person is it's married. It's like you're practically married. However, you're doing the things that are required of faithfulness and whatnot, except the sexual part, and then you have the marriage ceremony. Engagement is a lighter version of that, and to Wendell's point, it's more about intent. It is more that this is the person that I am committed to and committed publicly to get married to. So they're no longer girlfriend now or boyfriend, they are fiancé. Yeah. And that has something, a serious connotation attached to it. And that's why even if people aspect of the ring, that this person's engaged, this person is literally spoken for, and in a visible way, within a short period of time, they're planning to get married. So it's not we're not talking about no 5-year engagement and that kind of thing. It's basically within a period of time. I mean, in our case, for example, we with a year, our engagement was less than a year. I would have, it was a surprise. The family were in on it. But it wasn't a surprise in the sense that we already had made a commitment in terms of asking and whatnot. Because I don't want it to be an awkward surprise. You are like your butt.
You get surprised. You might get surprised.
You bring the ring.
And people taking pictures. You get a picture of her. Of her. No, you don't do that. So that would have been done already. But now this is public. And therefore there's again a measure of assurance. We're pretty much committed to go this way. But to the larger point, a lot of people have their own cultures, even within a culture of how they do things. And it's really a matter you have to to know what you're about.
Yeah, but the thing is, all the more reason why I want back my ring, because you wearing this ring. everyone is saying, we engage, these two people are going to get married, and for some reason we break up. What you wearing my ring for? For people to still think that we're together? No, take it off, give it back to me, so let them know that you're still, you're eligible and all of that. But anyway, that's
and that actually sometimes is how it's, if it is that we're breaking it off, that is how it's symbolized by handing back the ring to say this is over, it's no longer going to be consummated, that kind of thing. But if I tell you, it's over, and I didn't give you the ring, it possibly means that I didn't have it on my hand at the time, and therefore, why I'm not giving you back, or should you ask back for it at that point? No, I feel once it is you all have decided to go down that road and the person didn't choose to give it back to you, I think it's a principle stand. Like for me, like Huey is saying, I'm not going to ask you back for that. That's a done deal.
My thing is, I shouldn't have to ask you.
What I would say quickly, if it is that the man is breaking it off, right, in a situation like that, whatever reason he uses, and he's going to hang out dry, I think the least he could do is leave it with him.
Yeah.
If the woman breaks it off, I feel basically
then
he should do the honorable thing
and give it back.
And hand back the ring.
So from that, that is, and that actually mirrors, even in terms of, we don't have those practices here, but even from biblical practices in terms of dowry or ketubah, in terms of, basically, if you want to divorce you, you have to give back the dowry. So that is why the practice was to actually bulk up that dowry to the point where it's a disincentive to
give it back.
So you gotta give back everything. Land, cow.
So you might as well keep that.
Yeah. We have a call on the line. That. Hello.
The woman, she has to also.
Hold on a second. Hold on, call.
She brings. So, but if it is you, I engage you, and you just basically say, look, I don't feel this will work out. But unbeknownst to me, I am the seventh according to George from George's victims. Well, give me back the ring.
Because,
that's the honorable thing. So I put it out there for all those ladies out there who have aspirations of, a seventh and an eighth and a ninth ring they want to collect.
Forget about it.
Friends, hey, look, this next idiot, he gave me a ring there. No, we're not doing that.
Okay, we have a call on the line. Hello, good evening.
I challenge you all gentlemen tonight. Right? Well, I believe I understand with the question and no call on it, right? But I challenge you earlier because I hear him say that just give you back the ring. So when you're in age, you could live with the woman.
No, we're not saying that, sir.
Okay. Well, you already say that they get me back now. So I thought that you'll be around the woman after you engage her. You all will be like living together also.
No, it's not a matter of living together. Remember, this is a public thing, so people know. So my point is, people know that we were engaged. You're wearing the ring that I bought for you. If we are no longer together, then I'm saying, then give me back my ring, so people would know now that we're no longer together. That's all that I am saying.
Okay. I know that you understand it because we have to really send the message correctly. As I tell you, a lot of situations that I see occurring, but they say no anything. Because I believe plenty people don't understand what is engagement. But as Professor was saying, I believe that when you engage somebody, it's like a surprise, you want to spend the rest of your life with a person. Right? I believe that in that way. But then again, sometimes it doesn't work out. And I say, if you really love somebody, instead of going through all that engagement, because I say I never married before, and if I go to engage somebody, buy $1 million ring, right? I want to make sure that I'm able to spend the rest of my life with this person, right?
Exactly, very well. That's what we're saying.
So that's not like you gotta get money's worth.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well,
thank you.
That's why surprises, could backfire. And so the one surprise you could have is the logistics, But it should not be a surprise that both of you all have an agreement or desire that you all will get married.
Well, I would think, Huey, that for me to come to the point of where I buy a ring, that it would be basically we would understand that this is the direction we're going in. So I expect if I present a ring that the answer is yes. All right. So I'm not gonna buy a ring if I ain't too sure what the answer will be. You know, I'm not there.
The man very risk intolerant.
No, and I'm serious. Why am I taking to surprise you with a ring when I could hear no? Not at all. Not at all.
You're going on there with that.
No, not at all. Not at all. I have to be absolutely certain that the answer is going to be yes. The surprise is just the when and the where, and you know, as it's in the logistics and all of that. But anyway, so let's
hear that one.
Let's move on. And don't forget, folks, you can call us at any time, 622-1981, 628-1981. I don't know if we have any WhatsApp messages. We'll have somebody checking the WhatsApp messages for us. So we will see. But let's move on. Let's move on to the next question. And is it okay? Is it okay for me to take someone out, but let them know I have a budget? In other words, you know, you can't order this steak and lobster. You can't order them thing. Is it okay for me to say to her, you know, we going, you know, but you know, you gotta keep it under it under $50 or something like
Listen, Professor, I want to know if you came up with this list because it's COVID times. I'm trying to understand because you go in on a date and basically put in a cap on the date.
Yeah. No, because I know my pocket. And I can't be taking you out and you ordering things that I can't afford. All right, so that's what I'm asking.
Then why you carrying out the person? Because I could see you're getting off the starting block because especially
sounds like we're heading back to the doubles, man.
Yeah, that is where because I remember that conversation earlier. There's that doubles thing because if I don't know,
even if I take it for doubles, I expect it to eat 2 doubles. You buy 4 and 5 doubles. You ordered 5 doubles. I don't understand. So, is it okay for me after the third one to say, well, that is it? You can't order anymore?
We're really trying to say, what's man?
I'm trying to say.
I can see plenty women wish they could have called you now because like you're feeling woman like pressure.
No, but I know my pocket. That's my point. I know what I can afford, and I see you go in, you order 3, as I say, if it's doubles, I could afford to buy you 2, maybe 3 doubles, and you on your 4th one, your 5th one. I mean, is it okay for me to say you gotta stop there? You can't go on any.
Listen, I don't know. Let's try to put it in the perspective. You're asking basically if you know how would you treat a first date, and I assuming this is not, even if it's a first date, this is not the first time that you all are going out. You probably would have gone out before, you know the person, and you're interested in basically impressing the person or to see it go somewhere. Right. So obviously if you're doing that, you would have known the person to some extent to know, you know, their personality. If this is somebody you feel comfortably enough to say, here's what, you know, let's go to lunch, and you don't have to put a cap as against, you know, you have an open budget because you think you're dealing with somebody who's a reasonable type individual, because I assume that you would choose a reasonable type individual. But if you think that the person then is saying, well, like George, you know, is you know, is a game, is a business, so I obviously you would have to spend, because if I'm going out with you at this point in time, I want the best. There's an opportunity for me to work you, and that is what it is. But if you're saying this is somebody who you really you find, you know, the person is likable and there's something going on here, you want to give a fair chance to even that decision to say, okay, I'll leave in an open budget. I'm not going to put a cap on it because maybe that might be the last date if it is based on how I see you respond. And so that would be a deciding
see,
factor.
but I think, let me just give you this scenario. Let's give you this scenario. This is somebody, you're attracted to the person. And you didn't really plan to take them out. All right?
Yeah.
But you maybe you met somewhere, maybe you all work in the same place, it's lunchtime, and you going to lunch and realize she's going to lunch, and they say, well, let's, let's go to lunch together now. But you set up money for that. And you gone and she's ordering. I am saying, is it okay for me to say, well, look, I really can't afford all these things, All right? Because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you can't. What you'll do, and let me just add one other thing, because this would have been the follow-up question, Tate, right? Is it okay for me after a meal, if I don't have enough money, to ask her to contribute? If I realize I had enough money, it's okay for me to ask her.
So when you come from the broke pocket era, where the man who had a hole in the pocket that year. But listen,
we gotta be realistic. It happens.
If you don't have enough, then why? Back in the day, I know if Huey might be able to attest, or George. The first stage of it is like if you have a little culinary skills, and you could probably prepare a meal for the woman, and whether you by then you buy 2 doubles and she okay with it, so you could upgrade the food now to say, well, look, let me prepare a meal, and by that response, okay, well, the next thing I could take you out now, because so I think it's levels of acceptance in there, that there's a trust level being built between you and the person. But you going down a road where it's almost as if you want to take on the woman, but you don't want to take short. You don't want to spend on shit, but
no, it's not that you don't want. It's just that you cannot afford it.
Exactly.
Exactly. But I didn't.
Yes, sir.
George, go ahead, George.
If I have a certain budget to deal with, I think the one thing that I would do as, let's say, a poor man, I would not invite you to go to TGI Fridays if I have doubles money. All right? I might invite you to go for...
by the way.
Well, at the end of the day, I would the places that I would allude to taking you would be within my budget.
Yeah, but so George. Suppose I could afford something in TGI Fridays, right? But when we go there...
Appetizer?
Yeah. You never see appetizer. But when you go in there, she wants to order all kind of thing. Right?
Yeah, well, you have to be contingency, but professor, as a man, you have to anticipate, right?
Exactly.
You can't be going to a place like that and you sweating cold bullets because you get an existential crisis because she's looking at the menu, and you find she looking long at the menu, and she tend to be looking at certain things, and they say, hey, there's a real nice special here today, you should look at it.
Yeah.
So, if you are going there, you have to be prepared for that, and also if it requires that you have to save to do that, then you do that.
Yeah.
Right? But
exactly.
Again, it speaks to you have to come with cost. Nobody's putting a gun to your head, to see this is what you have to do, You have to ask yourself, is this person worth it? But not just that, is this the best forum to facilitate what you want, which is to get to know the person? And there are other more affordable forums to do that. But the thing about it is that you can't be shooting yourself in the foot, trying to impress people or trying to live to a standard that we see, in other countries and things like that. And this is the nonsense that we tend to do. So the thing about it is that you have to ask yourself, because sometimes the person is not like what you think they are, No. Sometimes the person is down to it, And thankfully, in Trinidad and Tobago, we do have, affordable experiences that actually people could enjoy, right? Notwithstanding what we have in the COVID and things like that. Not everything has to be that kind of high thing. But if you want to go there, then do some savings. To go this Friday.
Fellas, all I'm missing my point.
Christmas.
All I'm missing my point. But let's take a call. We have a caller. Hello, good evening.
The night is me again.
Yes, me again.
Taking into consideration, I believe relationship must be built on truth. And if you can't deliver, why advertise? All right. Or do advertise where you can't deliver.
Exactly.
Why go through this exercise trying to impress and you can't maintain or you can't continue? You understand? Okay. If that person just a tryout, or let's just say we just going to a field, or it's just a casual friend, or as you say, it's a, you know, Imamarata, somebody we engage to, or you want to see, you know what I mean, a future life with. Well, then there must be a time where we will have had this discussion about, you know, I mean, my financial capability to, let's just say, have you become a wife or make him a wife. Truth, honesty, do advertise where you can deliver.
Thank you very much.
You know, for me,
thank you.
What I think is at stake for me more than anything else in there. I mean, I subscribe to you know, Huey saying, you know, you need to be a little more. There are different places to go, but I feel when I enter that stage and I enter into that arrangement, my manhood is at stake, and therefore, if I know I cannot engage a certain thing, then I'm not going to put myself in a place where I will be embarrassed, where, you know, somebody is deciding, well, they want something and I cannot afford to engage that. Nah, I'm not going down that road. I feel once I am engaging that I must be in a place to be able to follow through, because you know, that is where my manhood is hinge on a level of principle. So for me, I am not going to, you know, because I've seen scenarios where women actually say, well, you know, they might say, well, you know what, let me take you out, and she's not second guessing whether she want to pay or if she could pay, she paying. So what's going to happen now when she already set that tone for you, you know, and you know, so she's expecting maybe the following week, you know, because she took in front, and we had a good time. What's going to happen now when the following week now she talks about, hey, so where we going now? There was no content cost when she took you out.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think I gotta keep it. I think we gotta keep it real. I think, you know, again, what you know, it means even all of that is part of the conversation of this, whether this is a person you want to be with, right? And if that person is willing to be with you, even after it doubles 2 slight pepper, plenty mango, then you know you have someone, because that person is wise enough to look beyond those things. This is not you know, celebrity restaurant or you know, one of them reality shows or whatever. This is you get to know someone, and as you call us, you have to be real. You have to be real with the person, because if you all right, they might get away and carry them out for TGIF or whatever. I don't want to advertise nobody, but some fancy thing, right? And but that might be an expectation, that's not a one-off, right? Now, if you put all your bullets in that gun, right, and you're not hitting the mark, there's pressure. So I think we got to keep it real. I mean, my first date with my wife now of November, 25 years, was in, you know, a fast food restaurant, right? And you might think that was easy to do, but it was an existential crisis. You know why? I was a Huey student, right? Not making no money, and up to the point about maybe 2 hours before he can go in, meeting her to go, I didn't have I didn't have a cent, and hope where getting his money from, right? For one of the famous fast food restaurants that we have here, won't call the name, but horses running the derby. So you basically understand that was the dynamic. But when thankfully I got some money, I got an allowance from my aunt. I don't know what, prayers answered, and I went to pick it up, and we walked to where it was. They're not even there anymore. But it was such a wonderful event. We went there, we got this stuff, and we walked back. And the joke we run in our head is, where we discussing one another is, okay, who hold the bag? If you hold the bag, you go look like you're greedy. And if I hold the bag, it go look like I hold the food. That was the conversation. You know, the food wasn't the issue. So the thing about it is that, especially in this day and age, where a lot of women actually, and this is the next thing to it, a lot of men, what is holding them back from having a relationship with a wonderful woman is fear, right? There's a lot of fear, a lot of insecurity, and they have a view that the woman is this and that. And all our women say, look now, just ask me out now. If you had a war on Savannah, I good, you know. I good.
Yeah, you know.
But we have these barriers in our head, and it is sad. A lot of women have the pride that men have, you know. They don't mind even, you know, as I say, pitching in. Right?
Which is why I said earlier, Huey, which is why I said earlier, sometimes women, their levels of confidence would have put them in a place where they would jump it. And because recognizing the fears in the men, they would say, okay, so let's say, let me take you out, or let's go out later. And they would be okay when you go to pay willingly. Say, no, I got this, I will. And because of that, you see the confidence in the man would grow to be able to say, well, no, you know what, I could now look past all the different, perceptions I had before, because now, I'm seeing a different type of person, somebody who is willing to spend for the experience and not putting money, as a barrier to that experience.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen.
A lot of women out there are just saying, oh gosh, just ask me now. Don't get tired of them kind of stupid stories always here, right? And you basically trying to you're trying to raise up Fort Knox so you can take me out, and so the amazing thing about it, we used to have this conversation all the time. You see a lot of women with some men, right? Who basically,
Wish you get
how they get a woman. How they get a woman. They were the ones who ask. They are no teeth in the front mouth. They all over the place. Some of them like bandits and whatever. But you know what? They don't have no shame. They're asking. Where all these so-called put together men, these nice men, who basically seem to have some character and they're not asking. Them having conversations in their head, right, as to why they shouldn't go and ask the girl out. They're not worthy. I don't have no money. Look, them men are studying that, them going, right? So I think for us as men, you have to understand, you take initiative, right? And at the end of the day, it's about partnership. If the woman can't accept you for what you have, then it will be a humongous Herculean task for you to maintain an image of what you're not. So you might as well get it out there. This is who I am, right? And I would treat you with respect, integrity, and there are things we could pitch in and whatnot. And if I get a raise today, we could go to that nice thing, and next day it could be doubles. You know why? Because that's how life is. Life is like that. So you might as well get accustomed now.
I want to say this. You remember the day with the and I go have to advertise somebody here with the Diana Empowerment with the name on it, where you give somebody a Diana Empowerment because it had lyrics on it. You know how much mileage you can get with a Diana Empowerment?
Gentlemen, we have some WhatsApp messages we did not acknowledge.
Right.
Yeah, but even before that, let me just tell you quickly. I remember I was going to take my wife on a date before we were married, and I that same TGI I was going there. I never went there before, but I hear everybody talking about it, so I going to take her. And when we went inside, and we see the prices of those things, she saw my face, and but I think even before she saw my face, she said, "We don't have to do this. We don't have to do it."
She was saving.
No, she saved me because we end up having coconut water on the savannah. Coconut water and jelly.
You see? She's still with you?
She's still with me. Coconut, I always remember that. But I wanted to go TGI because I hear everybody talking about TGI Friday, so I wanted to take her. But boy, thank God for that woman. Yes.
All right, brother.
Word of advice. You already GT professor. But word of advice for others who like you later on, do your research first.
True. I didn't do any research. I just hear them talking about things. I never thought that would be so expensive. Anyway, let's see if you could read some of these things.
Like I say, brother, I'll ask her. Thanks for the book. I'll ask her.
Yeah. Do like that place in the States. I'll ask her.
You have not because you asked not.
Yeah.
Those are serious
things. Yes, it's okay.
A lot of women are unnecessarily single. A lot of women out there, they wonder where are the men.
For real, the men not asking. For real. All right, let's go with these things. Let's go. Yeah. One said, yes, it's okay. Let me know before we go. Yes, I don't want you to take me out if you can't pay. As one woman says. Next one says, yes, you can because it is a start of Be My Brother's Keeper. I'm not too sure which one they're answering there because we asked a couple of questions. Good evening, guys. In Africa, they call it bride price. If the marriage does not work out, the family of the bride have to pay back the bride price. That's like the dowry. So I will give back the ring. Yes, okay, so they're talking about the ring.
In Hebrew.
Next one says, there's nothing wrong. The man cannot ask me to pay after we had the meal. Before the day, tell me your constraints and let me offer to upgrade. But don't require me to upgrade too often, though. All right.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Charles, good night. Nice topic as usual. If a man is pursuing a woman, he should not put his hat where his hand can't reach. I'm cool with a guy who is mannerly and honest rather than someone who's showing off with big money. All right, Cheryl. Next one said, I think if a man cannot afford to mind a wife, please do not marry. Well, yeah. And one more.
Don't date either, it look like.
But you have to qualify what that last comment is, because I think even that is a danger for a lot of people. Because again, we have these very unrealistic
expectations,
templates and comparisons for how men and women operate in marriage.
Well, it's images that we borrowing from in external images and stories, fairy tale stories that we are being handed.
And you compare me to bird and nest. You know, don't get no bird if you don't build no nest. Well, we National Geographic here. No, it's partnership. You have to learn certain things, and that's why I'll keep it real. A lot of women are sitting on catching cobweb because of these unrealistic expectations of what they have of men, and some men too. So let's get real with it. It's about partnership. How can we work together to do something? Because marriage don't work like that. A lot of people have views about marriage who are not married. Marriage don't work like that. Or good, healthy marriages, right? If you want to be in an unhealthy marriage where the man's slaving away, right, and you're not doing a thing, okay, well, you could join Shrek, right, and then happy ever after thing. Nothing don't work. So you have to be real, right? Let me tell you something. Wealthy people getting divorced. People have money, both of them have money. But they still getting divorced. That's not the issue.
It has nothing to do with money.
No, it has nothing to do with that. All these things that all they think about what marriage is, it don't work so. So people gotta get real, right? It's a partnership and we're working together. The two are naked and they're not ashamed. So we're not hiding things, right? But again, if that's your principles, stand by your principles. Let's enjoy a cool breeze.
Someone said he was not working and I wanted to go out. Out we went. The simple things in life works for me at that time. Okay, so that's it. Gentlemen, it's 7:29. We're out of time. We're out of time and we barely touched 2 questions. We had 11.
You're real ambitious.
So we're going to continue. We will continue this next week, God's willing, at the same time where we'll have some of the other questions answered, hopefully. So, gentlemen who are listening, next week be prepared to call in and share your thoughts, ask a question. Ladies, too, you can send your WhatsApp messages. So, I'm going to give you gentlemen each a minute to just wrap up. George, let's start with you. We hardly heard from you tonight. George.
Oh, gosh. At the end of the day, I was in so much awe of the questions and everything. Trinidad and Tobago, I love you. Be blessed to be a blessing. And remember, at the end of the day, that your brother needs you. Be your brother's keeper this week. Love you, Trinidad and Tobago. It's been wonderful for me.
Thank you. Our guest, special guest, Wendell, who will be back with us next week. I tell you only. Go ahead.
What? You go, brother. Again, some interesting questions, and it is for whether people are engaging in the process of dating, the process of looking for a partner, and there's always these kind of awkwardness sometimes, or questions that if you don't know how to respond or you don't know how to engage, you could proverbially be putting your foot in your mouth kind of thing. And I tend to I think we all echo the sentiments of try to keep it real, try not to put too much of overthink things. I know a lot of times, sometimes it's just like you might just have to step out of that fear that is gripping you and into a comfort zone of being able to articulate yourself and just go with the flow. Sometimes a lot of the simple things are what would actually get you inside the door and allow for people to to engage in meaningful conversations and building it from some simple things into, when you get to the point of being able to appreciate the bigger things, the grander things, as you grow together in some level of, partnership or, engagement, well, not the engagement, what we're talking about, but engaging each other, right, at a mutual level of respect and that kind of thing. So, good topic, and of course we await the other 9 questions.
9 questions. Thank you, Wendell. Huey.
Yeah, well, they're wonderful questions, and we continue conversations. And I just want to encourage, especially those of you who are believers, develop relationships, healthy friendships and relationships, and out of that something could blossom, right? Don't operate like how the world operates, right? We need to operate by according to biblical principles, and be truthful, okay? But develop friendships, and there are many options and opportunities for you that are affordable for you to get to know someone and for them to get to know you, right? So let's bear that in mind.
We get you.
And Christians, we will talk about this next week, but Christians, you don't engage in a set of dating and thing. You should. Don't do them kind of thing now. That's woolly behavior.
Okay. I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, we could talk that next week. But that dating thing, that don't work.
Amen.
That'll work.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Nah, not for Christians. Not for Christians. Maybe for the world, but not for Christians. Christians, we have to operate on relationships of honor and truth, and this trial thing is not a pageant.
You're talking about different people, different people. Right. I understand what you're talking about.
I was trying to get where he was coming from. Okay.
Yeah. This trial pageant.
All right, Huey, Cuffie, thank you so much.
Second-hand car, foreign news. No.
All right, Huey, we're going to pass the time. Thank you, Huey. Thank you, George, and thank you to our special guest, Wendell De Leon. We're going to continue this next week, God's willing, at the same time. This is the end of Men Talk for today. Blessings. And it's sponsored by the Feet Lady, Ayana Tony.
Hey, David, what you now, boy? Looking sprightly so? Just the other day you complaining to me about back pain, chest pain, your foot swell up, circulation, all kind of thing. What you take for that, boy?
Jamal, boy, I went by the Feet Lady, and not just me, I carry the family too. Boy, the family history with arthritis, kidney problem, diabetes, circulation, acid reflux. You call all of them just now. Had a pinched nerve too, and a cousin with lupus. And boy, the Feet Lady help you with all of that. And Naya Tony, boy, she's no joke. She even helping you if you had a stroke. Call she today, boy. Don't make joke.
Call Anaya Tony, the Feet Lady of Reflexology, today at 478